100 nights, no rest, no break. Dreams on my mind, but my hands still ache. Bands in the safe, cash on the low. Build it from the ground, watch the empire grow. Empty fridge, now the table stacked. Used to pray for change, now I'm counting racks. The grind don't stop, no pause, no wait. Bands in the safe, that's my fate.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to June. Welcome to Monday, first day and first week of June. And boy oh boy do we have a lot to talk about today. Not all of it's going to be good news. However, only the first bit is going to be bad news. I actually do think it ends up becoming something that's going to be better for us in the long run. So let's waste no time. Let's jump straight on into the charts. Have a quick look at the results from today because they're nothing to write home about. They're nothing special. And we'll get into the actual main topic of today's video as per the thumbnail. We got to talk about Ninjatrader. I think I've had enough, and I'll explain what I mean about that shortly. So let's just dive straight on in, have a quick look at the chart, because man, today was ugly. Look at this, absolute barcoding chop. So Asia was a little bit down. Kind of surprising. Asia usually does better than this, but okay, here's what it is. All right, so Asia a little bit down. London absolutely putting the team on its back today, as it really likes to do. Look, see that daily trail. It really is the key. So London did really, really good today. Nice high win rate. Lovely. Love to see it. And then New York, we just got chopped up in this absolute, what do you even call this? Makes me think of a hairbrush where it's just candle. Ugly stuff. And it wasn't, look, you can see here, right? So we're in this kind of range here. We get the news candle and we're chopping around and we're just struggling and we're struggling. As soon as we break out of it, we get a perfect orb break, retest, and we finally, as soon as we're out of this range, we go to normal candle behavior. In here, it's just back and forth whipsaw for 2 hours, an hour and a half. Ugh, gross. And then we eventually go up and just start sweeping liquidity to the high and then start chilling out for the rest of the day. But by then, unfortunately, we had already hit our max loss for the day on New York, it is what it is. The day was actually flat for the day. Let's quickly jump over. Oh no, that's not the one I wanted to show you. That's the one I wanted to show you. We'll look at that other one in a second. So June, new sheet. I'm going to make this look a little bit less garish, but as you'll see in a second, I've got other things on my mind today. But basically, a totally flat day, ever so slightly negative, $50 down. Wowee, right? So absolutely nothing burger of a day. Hey ho, okay, we'll come back and see where we are tomorrow, right? But let me load up that other image and we'll go through this, because this is the test results for the dev bench. Let's just jump straight into the dev bench stuff right now. We don't need a fancy little intro. The dev bench, which I will show you real quick. Let's go there now. Just kind of like a quick reminder for anyone who's new here. It's always about optimizing, and it's always about improving and making sure you're efficient, I guess you could say. So something I am rerunning is an old experiment from a previous version of the indicator, which the old results are no longer relevant because things have changed and things have updated. So I'm running the whole experiment again, and that is basically, instead of having just the trailing stop loss take us out, which is what the main results are currently doing, we're going to run fixed take profit and stop loss, and that's what these tests are for. This column here is, so each one of these is Asia, London and New York, as we do. 15 points stop loss, 15 points take profit. Here is the current default, which is 20 point stop loss, 15 points TP. And this version, column 3, is the one I'm most interested in, because I was thinking about doing this size anyway before this experiment, which is 20 and 20. 20 point stop loss, 20 point take profit. And this one is the exact same thing, just slightly earlier finish in the day. I don't have much expectations for this, but I thought about it and I figured, why not? I'll test it. Column 3, however, column 3 or column 1, either 15 and 15 or 20 and 20. It's going to be one of these two, I reckon. I don't think we'll stick with this one. But anyway, that's the test that we're looking at. So again, I've shown you all the wrong things today. I'm all flustered, as you can see, but we'll come back. We're going to talk about that in a second. Let me tell you. So here is the dev bench results, and it's got a couple days from end of last month when I started this. And the idea is that instead of having every trade be a different amount of profit. We're going to make it a lot more simple. I do think going to 1-to-1 RR, just getting those base hits, is going to be a really successful way to run this new version of the indicator. So we're going to test it. Is it going to be 15 and 15? Is it going to be 20 and 20? I'm leaning more towards 20 and 20. Actually, I'm kind of half and half. I think either's going to be good. Currently, 20 and 20 is in the lead. Over the past 3 days, it's up 5.3 thousand. 15 and 15 is actually quite a bit behind them. I thought it was more than this, actually, but, the numbers are what they are. This is why we're going to lay them out like this. And this experiment is not going to go on for all of June. This is probably only going to be a couple of weeks, because I ran all of May's results, and the results for May's win rates, even though they're not technically accurate, they're very close, and they're close enough for a hypothetical. And the results were really good, so we're going to run it real time like this. And here's the results so far. So far, so good. Bit of a nothing burger day. The main results came in $50 down. Okay, we're flat for the day, basically. The 20 and 20 came in $70 down. So it's like, okay, basically the same. And 15 and 15 was the worst of the day, actually. The earlier finish did, but like I said, I'm not really too bothered about the earlier finish. I don't think it's something we should consider doing. I think the better way to do this is have it trade the full session, let it get what it's going to get, and the thing that should stop it is either the max loss or the daily trail. That's the things that should stop it trading per session, not a fixed time. But we'll test it anyway, because why not? But anyway, let's now have a little bit of a chat, because this week, I'll be honest, I'm a little bit annoyed. Where to start? Ninjatrader. We're just going to start with Ninjatrader. Okay, so in April, I won't bore you too long, but here's a little bit of Delta Breaks lore for anyone who's new here. The old version of Delta Breaks was a little bit different to what the current version is. And things changed at the very end of April when I had a light bulb moment. I realized, so before it was a manually traded system. You had to click the button. And it was very easy to do that. You did it in Trader8, and I've only ever used Trader8 before for this sort of trade execution, because it's a great platform for it. And that was all good. There wasn't really many problems doing that. And the reason I didn't automate it at the time, because webhooks, an indicator sending out a signal to a third party to place a trade for you, I couldn't figure out. In fact, basically, there wasn't a way to do this in Trader8. Through conversations with someone on WAP, the idea came to me, what if I'm wrong about this? What if there is a way to do it? Long story short, there was. You can do ATM settings in Ninjatrader via webhooks. So I was like, wow, brilliant. Never even thought of looking into Ninjatrader. I've never used it before. Brilliant. So I kind of did my research, realized, wow, this actually will work. And that started the new current version of the indicator, which is heavily based around automation. And despite some difficulties, I think it was an overall massive success. We've taken it from a manually traded system to an automated system. It's a massive, massive improvement, and the performance of the indicator improved during the journey. So lots and lots of successes there. However, almost right away, now I've never used, up until this point, I've never used Ninjatrader for trade execution. I've only ever used it for copy trading. I used a program called Replicanto. And it was basic, it's simple. It worked. I didn't really have much of a problem with it. And it just kind of ran over in the corner on my VPS. But as soon as I started using it with the new version of Delta Breaks for this trade automation, yeah, it worked straight away. I had to, do a little tweaking here and there, make sure I had my information coming out of the indicator had to be correct. But that is what it is, right? That was fine. What started happening right away was that certain trades weren't being managed correctly. Some trades weren't closing properly. The trailing stop loss wouldn't be applied, but the trade would be opened. So you just have a trade open in your account with no take profit and no stop loss, no way of closing it, and it would just be open. Fortunately, I was only running this on demos at the time, so I didn't do any damage. But first thing I was like, okay, well, I can program into my indicator some fail safes, which is what I did. So every time the indicator thinks a trade has been closed, it would send a signal to Ninjatrader saying, make sure you've closed that trade, and it would tell it to do that. And for the most part, that worked. There was a few little paths where it could still happen, and I've just been working on it, making sure I've got my information correct. Anyway, cut a long story short, even up to end of last week, there was a member who has Delta breaks, and they got lucky because a trade didn't close. It was open. We were looking at his account. He had a trade open for about 90 minutes. Fortunately, it went in his favor. He actually ended up passing an account for it. So, thumbs up. That's cool. We got lucky on this occasion. But it's unacceptable. I'm not happy about this at all. It is not good enough for the system. We need that reliability, and me as a developer, I have this responsibility on my shoulders to make sure this thing is safe and suitable for purpose. And its current behavior, it's not. And I'm really annoyed about it. And this annoyance really kind of kicked off last night. So it's the first trading week of June. It's Sunday night. Market opens, and I messaged a bunch of you guys who have Delta breaks already saying, hey guys, there's a problem with some of the data feeds, trading views not working properly, Trader 8 wasn't working properly, Ninjatrader wasn't working properly. Everything had problems last night for about 30 minutes, maybe an hour. Then everything started working except Ninjatrader. And my Ninjatrader still ain't fucking working. Here it is. So this is right now, right? See this message here? This is the problem. And it's been 24 hours now for me. Instruments not subscribed to real-time data. Yeah, you think so, huh? Well, what it's talking about is my master demo accounts, the ones that I run every single trade to. And you can see they're not even loading now. Well, I'm logged into them right now in Trader 8. They are working perfectly fine. And cut a long story short, even my Lucid account, you see there, this Lucid account isn't working. All of my accounts, any account I load into this is not working. Basically, long story short, this is a Ninjatrader problem. And a bunch of members had problems with this as a result today. So much so that I haven't been able to trade all day. Which, is not the end of the world because it was a break-even day, but that's not the point. What if it was like a really profitable day and I was just sat on the sidelines because of a technicality with a program that for the past 4 to 5 weeks of me using it has caused nothing but problems? I've seen this happen 4 or 5 times. I've seen trades not close 10 to 11 to 12 times. I've had every single member, pretty much, who's got Delta breaks have a problem with Ninjatrader. Ninjatrader is a massive weak link in this system, and I'm super unhappy about it. So enough rambling on from me. What's the solution, Terra? What are we going to do? Well, I think the solution is this. This, ladies and gentlemen, is pickmytrade.trade. I've never heard of them before, but in my frustrations today and annoyance of this whole situation we find ourselves in with this unreliability of Ninjatrader, which is kind of amazing on its own. You know what? I've got to show you this. Okay, so Ninjatrader is a very well-known platform, right? So I'd never really considered that it was crap, right? I've never used it personally. It's only the last couple of weeks that I've used it. But anyway, I came onto Ninjatrader just kind of in my, on Trustpilot here, in just like my research this morning. And I was like, you know what, let's go check out these one-star reviews. Like 19%, that's pretty high. Out of over 1,100, that's over 200 one-star reviews. I'm like, oh, interesting, okay. And I went and I had a look, and it's bad, man. I went through and I read a lot of these. A lot of these people saying that they can't get any help from their support, which I have experienced. I've got no help over the last 24 hours. The app doesn't seem to work. There's a lot of those too. There's a lot of don't trust these people. They take your money. They don't let you withdraw, and there's no customer support, and it's super laggy, which I have experienced, and it's. You know what? It's one of those things. In hindsight, I just assumed that Ninjatrader was good because they're so well known. But this goes on for pages, and pages and pages, and I'm like, oh, maybe I've made a mistake using these guys. Now, admittedly, I started using them purely because they were the only option for running ATM settings. Trader 8 can't do it via webhook. Ninjatrader, as far as I'm aware, is the only option still where you look, it just goes on and on and on. There's hundreds of them. All right, so that's enough of that, right? let's go back over here. Oops. There we go. So what you're looking at here is a potential solution that I found. It is a third-party cloud-based company called PickMyTrade.trade. I've never heard of them before. This is my first time using them. And just through looking, and I've only been using them this afternoon, so I've still got to kind of look into it. But what you're looking at here are a bunch of trades that I placed today with my indicator with Delta Breaks, and it was all pretty successful, actually. It all seemed to work. Why am I excited about this? Well, they might have every single solution we need for Delta Breaks built into this platform. And what I mean by that? Well, Ninjatrader is the only system that I know of that I can find that lets you do webhook activated ATM settings. Well, these guys have their own trailing stop loss, which was the main thing I needed. For one, if we end up going down the route of fixed TP and stop loss ranges, we can just do what these trades here are. They're testing fixed, and it's simple, actually quite very easy to do. You set a limit order with a fixed TP and stop loss range. And these worked perfectly fine. In here, you can, I won't go into super amounts of detail on how you set all this up, but I'll show you what I mean here. Look, so exit positions. Do you want a stop loss? Yes. Here it is. Look, trailing stop loss. They have their own version of it. So you go, yeah, I want my own trailing stop loss, and I want it 60 ticks, and I want it to be triggered as 60 ticks, and I want it to update every 1 tick. That right there is the trailing stop loss settings that Delta Breaks uses. So to kind of sum up all this yapping on that I'm doing here, these guys, they do webhook automation where they will place the trade on your account. They have their own trailing stop loss system built in, so we don't need an ATM setting placed at the same time. It's already part of the trade it will place for us. Basically, it's the same thing. Excellent. We can do the fixed take profit stop loss sizing as well, because that's super easy anyway. Here's what else. They have a trade copier built in. Awesome. Even better. And the real cherry on the cake here, guys, is that they work with Top Step and Rhythmic already. So you guys out there who have Top Step accounts, because I know there's a couple of you, you guys can just log in here as well. You don't have to, like with Ninjatrader, you had to jump through a whole bunch of hoops to get Rhythmic to work as well. This platform is already set up to use them. And here's another good thing. We're not going to need a VPS to do this. That's less monthly cost for you. It costs the same as the better version of cross trade anyway. So you're not really, and which is what something I was going to recommend people move up to, which is $50. That's what this entire platform is. It's $50 a month, and there's no extra cost. You get everything. You get unlimited alerts, unlimited accounts, and you can copy trade across multiple prop firms at once. You don't need any third-party softwares. It's all cloud-based, so we don't need a VPS. It has a manual. It has a trade copier. It has the ATM-style trailing stop loss that we want. It has, have I got it? It has its own risk settings. So look, I set one up earlier. When it loads. Yeah, look. So this was something I had to upgrade cross trade to get this feature. It's included in this one, so we can set a daily profit, which is your max consistency. So you can trade the 3 sessions, the 3 indicators. The system will automatically stop you, no matter when it gets to it, every day anyway. So you just put your max consistency in here. You don't have to worry about daily loss because we do that individually per session, but the daily profit, we do care about that. You can do a weekly profit. So if you know that you've got like, let's see, just click there, right? Click edit, weekly profit. Let's say I'm running a 150k account. $9,000 is my target. Let's give it an extra $10 just to make sure I'm over. Save change. I know that as soon as I've passed, the account's going to stop trading for me. I don't have to go in and change any numbers in my indicator. It's done here. This is the sort of convenience I wanted, and I didn't know these guys existed. So I've been working my ass off today to update and complete. So I've taken all of the cross trade stuff out of a test version of the indicator. I've put all of the new Pick My Trade stuff into it, and I got a bunch of trades successfully placed today, and I watched them and they worked, and they did And yeah, I'm very, very hopeful for this. You see there, it's constantly refreshing every couple of seconds, and these are quick. I had no problems, and it's got limit IDs, it's got trade IDs, and there's going to be a bunch of, look how, again, refreshing. It's quick. It's constantly updating, which is good. And I need to do some tests. I don't yet know this is 100% right, but it's got every single thing that I need and that we need for delta breaks. It's included here. So I'm very hopeful that this is actually going to be the answer that we need, because I'm very unhappy with the way that Ninjatrader has acted over the last few months. Not even a few months. It's been 1 month. In 1 month, I must have seen 20 individual issues with Ninjatrader, both from myself firsthand and members having problems where Ninjatrader would show one number and the dashboard would show a totally different number. This is not acceptable. We can't have that. It's a totally unreliable system. So we need, I was talking to someone earlier, one of my students, and we were talking. I said there's a couple of sayings that I have that I absolutely apply to trading. If you're going to fail, fail fast, and don't commit to a mistake just because you spent a long time making it. Those two sum this situation up perfectly. There is a problem. We fix it or we ditch it. And NinjaTrader is that problem. I don't care if it's well known. I don't care if it's an industry standard. Fuck that. It's not worked. So we're moving on. We're finding a new solution. And I'm going to have answers for this in the next couple of days. I think I've already done the bulk of the work and I just need to monitor it. I'm going to run it overnight. I'm going to do a deep dive into every single trade tomorrow. And we'll probably have answers maybe tomorrow, maybe Wednesday, or at least at the end of this week. Because, if I go, no, I'm not going to load it up now because there's nothing new to see, but my NinjaTrader right now isn't working. I can't place any trades on both delta breaks or the dual orb. Dual orb didn't work today either. It's not the accounts. It's not the indicators. It's not TradingView. It's NinjaTrader. So that's where we are, folks. A flat day today from the actual indicators performance anyway. And I think I've made some really rapid and good strides towards an actual solution to this crap we've all been dealing with NinjaTrader. And you know what? I hold my hands up to it. I didn't realize NinjaTrader was going to be a problem to this, so I apologize for you guys who have this system. This is not what we wanted, but hey ho, I'm giving it all I got over here, and I hope you guys can see that, day in, day out, I'm constantly updating, constantly iterating, and there's always improvements to be made. And like I said, if you're going to fail, fail fast, and we'll move on to a new solution. There's always a better answer around the corner, and this machine will always go strength to strength, So there we go, folks. I hope this hasn't been too boring of an update for you. We will have updates and news and answers. That's the word I'm looking for. We will have answers on this in the coming days. And honestly, if you have delta breaks already, if you're having NinjaTrader problems like I am right now, just turn it off for a couple of days. I think that this platform, this Pick My Trade platform, I need to do a little bit more research on it just to make sure. But so far, I'm actually quite impressed. One last thing I'll say. Earlier, when I was getting it up and running and I was just started using it, within 10 minutes, I was like, I'm just going to ask the support and see how quick they are. They started speaking to me straight away, and they gave me 2 answers for 2 questions that I had straight away, and they were the answers that I needed within 30 minutes of logging into the platform for the first time. So their support is there. Their features are there. I've got it up and running in an afternoon, and I'm busting my ass over here to do that. But that's on me to do that. I have the responsibility of that, and we're going to get this shit done. And we'll be back up and running stronger than ever before you know it. So thanks so much, everybody. I appreciate you listening to me ramble today. Not quite the start to June that I hoped for and that I wanted, but you got to do what you got to do, And we'll be back to making money for June before you know it. So thanks again, everybody. Take care, and I will see you tomorrow with some more information. Bye.
Yeah, now it's home like a battle cry. Circuit spark under neon skies. Truth is metal.